So, welcome to Speck of Dust. As it's sometimes weird and wonderful albums are found in this deep dig of relics from the 80s. 3, 2, 1, Shazam. So, my first record is Liquid Liquid Successive Reflexes from 1981. This is actually an EP at 45. See right there, 45. It's a reissue on Superior Viaduct. Although it was first released on 99 Records, the cultish downtown Manhattan record label that had bands like ESG and Glenn Branca. Anyway, this is all about the interlocking rhythms and finding the big beat, which was their concept. It's a good representation of the later era no wave, where bands were moving away from the noise and into rhythmic instrumentals and kind of quasi vocals. This is New York otherworldly dance rock, and you could see them down at Danceteria and the Mud Club. They have groaning, moaning vocals and dislocated James Brown beats that are oblique and could not be confused with like the funk idiom. So this is a 5 song EP at 14 minutes with songs like Lock Groove, In and Out, Zero Leg. There are no guitars, but there's marimba, piano, 3 percussionists, bass clarinet, saw blades. I keep it in my hard to listen to section. It's ominous yet danceable. And they also have the Raincoats, Moving from 1984. This is an example of English post-punk, but it's really orchestral folk. There's a little bit of that post-punk in there on some songs. It's more of a straightforward vibe compared to their early work, which was more outsider, quirky folk. But it still has that lost in the woods scenario, this hovering on the precipice of a black hole with extreme melancholy. It's got delicate percussion, cello, sinewy guitar, vocalese and harmonies, and melodic repetition. Slightly Celtic in parts, but overall it's witchy. And it's got parlor elegance and sounds fresh today. Slightly African, but dancey in parts, a little bit of jazz, but ultimately a mystical feeling throughout. It's their third record. If you really want to get into the gist of the Raincoats, you should also get Audi Shape, their second record. And that's what I got.
Just pull what I've got out of the depths. All right. I bring you some sweaty, homoerotic, minimalist electronic music in the form of two German gentlemen who went by the name of Deutsch-Amerikanische Freundschaft, or German-American Friendship. Basically, sequencers, uh, analog human played drums, and vocals on top of it, very stripped down, bound to fill any kind of dance floor you might want to populate with what came to be known as electronic body music. There's any number of great tracks on here. My favorites, though, are Der Mussolini, Dance the Mussolini, Dance the Adolf Hitler, Dance the Jesus Christ. So they could rightly be accused of aestheticizing fascism. Can't be fun to it that may or may not make that okay. So that's my first choice. Comes from across the Rhine over in France land, or the Reich, the Empire of the Franks, Les Lolitas. And so these ga guys and gals are sort of out of step with the rest of the world in the 1980s. Exile on Main Street styles, sort of sleaze, I suppose. I just didn't want to use that word. But yeah, it's kind of got that gritty, greasy, sort of Southern fried feeling to it. But right, anyway, as I said, they're French, and they do this with a typical French je ne sais quoi, and there's songs here by Serge Gainsbourg, kind of cabaret sensibility that's in evidence in all of this. Great down and dirty raunch and roll from the Lolitas. There you have it. Exile on Main Street, circa 1987 in France.
So my first record is from 1985. The band Megadeth can be under one way of understanding Megadeth, Dave Mustaine's decades-long project of revenge against Metallica. Dave Mustaine, the leader of Megadeth, was the founding lead guitarist of Metallica. He was kicked out in 1983 for, I don't know, partying too hard or just generally being a jerk. And he formed this band in response. And he very much wanted to outdo his former band members. And, he wanted to outdo them, and in some ways he kind of did. So this is a thrash record. It came out a couple years after Metallica's debut. He wanted to play faster, and he did. And there's just something singular about the way this record sounds. It's feral. The other guitarist and the drummer had jazz fusion backgrounds, and it kind of shows. Dave Mustaine's vocals are nasal, but really ferocious. The songs are quite good already, even on this debut. They are definitely faster. If you look at this cover, it's really terrible, but it's become sort of classic in its way too. It remains a favorite of mine from the 80s. It doesn't really sound like anything else. My second record, very different, is this release from Abdel Gadir Salim from 1989. So this guy was a Sudanese oud player and singer. It's one of my favorite, African or North African or Middle Eastern sounds, precisely because Sudan sort of sits kind of astride on a few different regions, and it brings in influences from each of them. So, it's pretty heavily Middle Eastern sounding or Arabic sounding, but there's also African influences. So this was recorded at a show, like a one-off show he did in London, I guess. And so it's him on the oud and on vocals, and there's a guy playing accordion, there's someone playing percussion, there's a violinist, and there's a saxophone player. Essentially he pulled a lot of his ideas from folk songs from all over Sudan. Some of these are inspired by poetry, by Sudanese poets. Some are local folk songs. Some use the Arabic scale. He's got a wonderfully expressive voice, and the music here, it's crisp. It's crisply played and recorded. It's sometimes moody, sometimes joyful, but there's this air of fragile beauty all over it, and it's great. What? The homoerotic German electronica.
It swings both ways. Another great track on it is The Robber and the Prince. Oh, yeah.
And, I think his lyrics got a little better over the years, too. But I'm not sure they ever rose above, like, Dennis Miller talking geopolitics.
Suddenly, a wizard walks by.
They weren't on the wizard side, mind you. The pterodactyl flies across the Weedian fields.
John Wayne Gacy was really fond of Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon. David Berkowitz liked Rich Girl by Hall & Oates. Jeffrey Dahmer liked Black Sabbath.